Hi folks, today is August 6th and Lynthia and I are out here between raindrops because we know you're all anxious to see what's going on at the construction site. It's about 2 weeks since we made our last video. Instead of walking around just on the outside and telling you lots of things that you can see clearly from the other side of the fence, we're actually going to go inside the building and show you what's going on room by room and give you some more updates on when things are going to open and what the latest delays are and all that other good stuff. So we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, here we are at the front entrance to the clubhouse. And I stopped here because I want Lynthia to pan around so that you can see what's going on the outside. You can see that all the stucco is going up. All the decorative trim around the windows is being stuccoed out. And once that cures and gets primed, then it can be painted. The place will start to look like the finished product. There's a whole raft of construction people behind us waiting to get in the building. So Lynthia, let's move forward and go inside so they can clear us. So here we are in the lobby. Some of the things that have happened is the windows and doors are actually going in on the exterior. You've seen the elevator shaft before, but you can see clearly that the second floor is installed. We're going to take a walk up there so you can see what the second floor lounge looks like. So Lynn, let's take a walk and go upstairs. You can take a peek out there. Gives you a little bit of the idea of what the space is going to be like. Let's walk through there. I know I'm going to have my back to you for a while, but at least you get to see what's going on. So inside this room, this is basically where the lobby seating area is going to be. You have two sides that are going to have couches and chairs and things like you saw in the renderings. All this beautiful squared out windows with lots of light going out to the pool deck. And if you look back behind you, Lynthia, you can show everybody the elevator is actually going in and being built on site. They're in there putting it together. That should be finished in the next couple of days. Let's take a walk upstairs so they can get a glimpse of what that's like for the first time. Since the elevator's not working, we have to walk up the stairs. Hopefully none of you will have to do that because it's quite a climb. So we're walking through off the area where the front desk is to the right when you come in, and you can give them a shot of what the stairs look like this way. Quite a staircase. So up we go. So after all that, I think you now understand why we needed the elevator, because no one is doing that staircase. All right, here's what you see when we get upstairs. It's a nice large space. Again, this is where the elevator is. Over to this side, you see two doorways. That is going to be the restroom, and a storage room are over there. Your seating area is going to be here. Let's go to this side. Over in this area, this is where the bar is going to be. So you'll be able to come up and have drinks, watch sports games, and then outside here where the plywood is, that's all your glass doors. The plywood is on them right now just to protect them while the stuccoing is going on the building. So it's a very big space. It's a very big space. You still don't get quite the perspective because when you go outside, when those doors are open, there's another 2,000 square feet out there with couches and chairs and tables and all kinds of stuff. So it really is a big social space for you to enjoy the outdoors and the indoors at the same time. Let's shut this off for a sec so we can walk to another part of the building. All right, so you have a sense of where we are. We're back in the lobby. Lynthia is standing literally where the front desk is, and I'm standing where used to be the hallway to go to the gym. We're going to walk this way so you can see what the restaurant, snack bar, food service space is like, and the bathrooms, the offices, and the billiards room, and the progress that's been made. As you can see, the last time we were in here, we had no walls. You can clearly see that we now have the walls going up. Lynthia, let's take a walk into the restaurant space. All right, we're standing to the entrance at this point of the restaurant. You can see that we redesigned it a little bit. Those pieces of plywood in front of you are automatic opening doors, so that when you're trying to carry your food from the pool area into the building, or you're coming with your grandchildren to get to the bathroom, the doors open up. You don't have to worry about manipulating card readers and all that kind of stuff to get the doors open. Also, there's a nice clean path that comes to the entrance from the restaurant back into the hallway. And Lynthia, if you turn this way, keep going this way, it also leads to a hallway that takes you to the restrooms. Right now, it's going to be a little difficult for us to walk in there because they're actually floating the floors in the restrooms today. But you have 4 restrooms here, individual, all equipped for handicapped in case you need them. And then behind that, the door in the end is actually where the offices are. Gives you a little bit of an idea of what's going on. Let's continue along here. In the hallway, instead of having a long, dark hallway, you have these nice big windows that go into the cafe, restaurant, whatever you want to call it. This way the hallway is nice and light. You still get to see out to the pool and everything else. Lots of natural light and high ceilings. Inside this restaurant area, you can see they have framed out all the soffits for the raised ceiling that you've seen in the pictures, where all of the light fixtures go in that create that nice art piece. Let's continue down further. Over here we have the entrance to the billiard room. Again, they're starting to put up the sheetrock on the soffits for the tray ceiling. The windows are in, they're framing out the walls. Nice big billiard room, lots of access. This area here, this little indent in the wall is where we're going to have a built-in trophy case for pickleball, tennis, and things like that. On the other side, there is another one for all the billiard trophies and things of that nature. And then these are the doors that take us back out to tennis and pickleball. Let's break for a minute and walk to another part of the building. All right, back again. We're in the lobby, which is the starting point for everything. Now we're going to go to the west wing. Again, you can see the corridors are framed up. They're starting to put the walls in. Let's take a little walk. First stop is the library. You see the windows and everything that used to be in the library obviously are gone. You're going to walk. Tray ceilings are not in here yet, but that's what bookcases all around the room. Very nice area. On this side, we're going to have built-in trophy cases. Things can be displayed from the arts and crafts room, different people's projects. The last time we looked at this site, the card rooms were not built. At this point, you can see the size of the card rooms. Come on into the room. This is basically the size of the card rooms. If you look up at this steel beam that's going across the top, that is where the partition wall is if we ever want to divide the rooms into poker in one room, cards in another, or if we want to leave it open and have a large card party. But they're 2 card rooms. Both of them individually are bigger than either of the card rooms used to be. Because remember, we used to have the president's room, the vending room, the billiards room. All of that is now incorporated into the 2 card rooms. So while we still only have 2 card rooms, they are individually way bigger than they used to be. So this gives you an idea of the space. They have started putting in the tray ceilings, so you're going to get some feeling of what the architecture looks like. Clearly, they're doing all the mechanicals, the air conditioning, and that kind of stuff. Let's walk further down to see what's going on by the restrooms. So now we're down towards the restrooms. You used to just have a door that went to the ladies' room and a door that went to the men's room. A lot of thought went into the design of it. You now have a small entry foyer where your water fountains will be. You have your choice of going to the men's room or the ladies' room, and guess what? You can't see in anymore. You used to be able to see in look in the mirrors and be able to see people in the bathroom. All that is gone. Let's walk a little further, Lynthia. As we walk through this door, we're now in the foyer to the ladies' room. If you walk down, let's look in here. It'll just give you a glimpse of what's going on. You have your hand washing area and your vanities, which is going to look a lot like what you saw in the fitness center. And then each individual stall is its own individual room in the ladies' room. Again, very similar, except a little more polished than the fitness center. Really giving it a rich look, very private, clean, streamlined look for our new clubhouse. Let's go on. The men's room is similar treatment, so we don't really need to go through that. And again, these facilities are larger than they used to be because we used to have the yoga studio was where the ladies' room is. So we've incorporated that into the bathroom area. Let's go down here. This is the entry hallway from the parking lot to get into the social hall in a similar area to what used to be here. This little built-in here is a built-in that's going to house mailboxes for all of the clubs, committees, things of that nature. We thought that'd be a nice feature to add. Let's look into the social hall. We have the doorway to the social hall. We've made an indent here, which is going to have a built-in, almost like a buffet server console table, so that when you need to put out table cards or you have programs or we need to take tickets, there's a place already built in to do that and make it, elegant. Now, most of you have not been in here as it's coming together, but let's walk into the social hall to get some type of idea of the scale. As you can see, this is literally magnificent. This is like you're walking into a Broadway theater or a bar mitzvah. It has high ceilings. What you're looking at as the man is going up on the lift is the tray ceiling, and there's a lot of different architecture going on there to create drama. You have 4 art installations that are actually chandeliers that are going to look beautiful. But you can see we have a 20-foot ceiling when you used to have only 14. You have a magnificent stage compared to what you used to have. It's not the whole stage. Let's take a look at that. Right now, what you're seeing is the whole stage, including the dressing rooms, the area for the piano to be off in the wings, things like that. But the stage is going to go from that steel post all the way to that white pipe. So the front of the stage at this point is at least 8 feet larger than what you used to have. We can go closer in a minute. You will see that it's as deep as you used to have, except it doesn't have the indent in the back anymore. There's lots of space for props and things like that. Let's look over there. The archway over there, there will be an exit for you to get out to the parking lot that way. And there is a bathroom back there that's handicapped access. And then the way to get up to the back of the stage. That will all not be visible from the room, but it's there. The wall that they're working on this side is actually the catering kitchen. We'll take a look at that a little bit more as we get closer to it. But you finally get to see, Lynthia, let's walk this way and look at the back wall. So let's turn around with the camera now so you can see what's going on at this side. We're now taking a look at the entry to the social hall. Well, if you look above, there is a second story up there. This is all going to be framed in, and there is a window going up there. That is your sound room. clearly a lot bigger and more professional than what you used to have. It's centered with the center line of the stage, so everything should work, and all the chandeliers are placed so that they're not obscuring the view of the stage. And then you wonder what this is back here. Well, this back here is actually a service bar, so that when you're watching a show or you're having a dinner dance or something like that, there is a full service bar here. So either people can go up and get drinks, or the waiters and waitresses can bring you drinks at your table. So that's what's going in that area. Let's go this way a little bit more. For the people that ran the clubs and things like that, you know, for years we've been working with a kitchen that was literally no bigger than that service bar. In fact, that's where the kitchen was. So with some kitchen cabinets and some microwaves and a couple of warming cabinets. So you can see, while this kitchen is not as big as it ideally could be to run a banquet facility, it is a lot larger than what we used to have. It's going to have dishwashing equipment, warming ovens to keep everything hot, and it actually is going to have a door that is somewhat concealed from the dining room, so you don't constantly see and hear all the noise of the waiters and waitresses. And it has another door on that side into that foyer, and it was all designed that way to make the flow of traffic work, so that waiters and waitresses can go in, get the food, and come out and do it all quietly and unobtrusively while you're watching a show or enjoying a dinner dance. And your DJ will be up in the sound booth when you do have parties. So it really will feel much more like an experience in a country club or a catering hall or something like that. Something you can be really proud to bring people to. I want to go towards the stage a little bit, so that the people that are involved in performing arts and the theater and things like that can understand the scope of the size of this new stage. You'll notice, the first thing you'll notice if you're really into this, is that the stage is now 6 inches higher than it used to be, so it's finally at the right height for everybody to see what the hell is going on. You'll also notice that the top of the stage, while the hardwood floor is not in yet, it is much bigger and a whole lot more open space, so we actually can have different types of acts. We can have bands, we can have theater productions that actually can be done now because we actually have the space to do it. So that's about all for this area. I think we'd all agree that it's pretty grand. Let's take a break for a minute and go someplace else. All right, so right now we are outside on the pool deck. Lynthia, you don't really have to look at me, but give them an idea of what's going on the back of the building right now. As you can see, there are people working with tile, there are people working with stucco, there is wood and things flying all over the place. So while I'm not like the nightly news that's predominantly 90% bad news, and at the end they give you one uplifting story about a child who, got a candy bar, this is the only bit of news that you're not going to be happy about. Clearly, the pool deck has not even been started, and we can't start it for obvious reasons. As you can see, it is not safe for us to even be back here right now. There are people like monkeys running all over the place. There's slate flying. There's stucco flying. There's no way that the town is going to allow us to now bring out people to start demolishing and doing the swimming pool. And the swimming pool will take 2 to 2.5 months. So while we were hoping to be starting it in July, obviously you can't stucco in the rain. You can't work on the roof in the rain. So we've been saying lately that October is probably when the pool's going to open. Well, if we were able to start today and it's 2.5 months, we're September, October, probably November, and they're still not out of here, obviously. So nothing we can do about the weather, but I literally cannot start this until they're off the back of the building. If I have to guess, I would say if the rain keeps going the way it is, you're probably looking at another 2 to 3 weeks before they're off the back of the building. And at that point, then we can start working on the pool once they're demobilized and everybody's out of here, which literally means we are sometime in November at the earliest now. I know that's a little different than the last time we spoke, but I think you can all understand looking at this that there is no way to send more crews of people here without worrying about them getting hurt. So that's the last little bit of news that maybe not so pleasant for the people that want the pool. I know you're all anxious. We're anxious. But the reality is the pool is not coming back till sometime in November at the earliest. And I'll be the first one to let you know the day we start the work, and we'll bring you updates on that. From here, I'm going to walk to the fitness center. We're going to shut this off for a sec so we can give you updates on when that's opening. All right, we're inside the fitness center at this point, and the reason I'm bringing you in here is everybody is wondering why we haven't opened yet and what's going on. So I'm going to give you a little update. Number one, if we take a panoramic view around the room, you can see that 90% of the equipment has arrived and been installed. There are 4 pieces of equipment, the ellipticals, that are supposed to be here on August 24th. You can see that this is a completely different look. We'll walk around a little bit so you can see some of the new things that are here. But this is obviously cleaner, neater, more upscale than anything we had before. Some of the things we're waiting on, the biggest one actually, is we're waiting for the CO for the building. So I can't even move in the rest of the stuff till we get the CO. What's holding up the CO, believe it or not, is typical bureaucratic stuff that we are not able to move. We need the landscape architects to sign and certify that all the landscaping, which we're going to look at in a few minutes to see how beautiful it is out there, they need to sign and certify that it complies with the requirements that were set forth in the permits. There is some dispute over 3 or 4 plants that have to be changed. We're just going to change them out and make that problem go away. But again, it doesn't happen overnight. The other thing is there is a discrepancy between the irrigation plans that were permitted and what was actually done. And that discrepancy has nothing to do with the fitness center. It actually has to do with an area over by the pickleball courts and an area by a dumpster that we're not putting in by the tennis courts. So the civil engineers are making adjustments to those plans, signing off on those and submitting those. And the county has said they will come give us our CO and do the final inspection once those 2 things are taken care of. I know that I gave the presidents of all the associations, actually all the board members, an update last week electronically saying that we were probably about 4 weeks away from opening the fitness center for those reasons. Right now we're at about 3 weeks. We should be able to open, I would imagine, in 3 weeks, because we should have those letters in the next couple of days, then we should have our inspection, then we'll get our CO. While we're on that topic, the other thing, you notice all of these machines have internet and TV access, including what used to be your stationary bikes. Take a look at the bike here. So instead of the stationary bikes that you used to have and be able to ride, you now have Echelon bikes, which is the commercial version of a Peloton bike. So every one of these screens not only is a TV, or you can use it as a Kindle, or you can read a book, check your email, watch CNN, but you also can pick from whatever fitness program you want to do. If you want to be in the Tour de France and ride the bicycle, or you want to ride through the Andes Mountains, you can do that. So there's a lot of technology in here. The internet, and the internet is not available in this building yet because Comcast has yet to come hook up the head-in for the internet service. It was scheduled to be done 3 weeks ago, but when they got here, they realized that the way they were doing it was wrong. So they came up with a new way to do it. They're actually in the process of doing it today. And once that happens, then the equipment people can come back and literally plug all this stuff in, program it, and get it to work. All exciting. It's worth the wait, folks. I know you're dying to come here. I'm dying to get it open for you, but believe you me, look at this. It is going to be well worth the wait. I want to take a look down at the free weight area and the strength training area because there are some changes here as well. There are things that we did not have in the past. You have all the machines you used to have. Some of them have changed colors, so everything looks the same and nice and new and clean. But also this area is a big change. This is something you never had before. You actually have an entire TRX training station now. So you can do all the workouts with the cables. You have mats to work with. You have kettlebells. You've got Bozu balls, you've got every kind of thing, medicine balls that you would expect to have if you went to LA Fitness or something like that. When you come to this area, you now have a Smith machine that you never had before. For the folks that are into lifting, you have a Smith machine. You have a whole new set of barbells and dumbbells, and all it's waiting for here is I'm trying to get the meters put up so that when you're working out, you can obviously do it correctly and carefully, seeing yourself. While we're on the topic of mirrors and things like that, let's go down to the yoga and meditation space, formerly known as our yoga room theater. This is designed so that if you want to do quiet stretching, yoga, things like that, we now have the space that you can do it in the fitness center, but be not worrying about people dropping a barbell on you or something like that. So this wall here, I think next week they're coming, this is going to turn into a wave of frosted glass so that there is some privacy if people are in here doing stretching and Pilates and things like that. If you go here, you can see Lynthia's reflection. In a mirror, there are two mirrors there. Those are the same as Peloton. Again, echelon mirrors. So now you don't have to wait and we don't have to hire an instructor to have a class. You can actually come as yourself or a group of people whenever the room is available, and you go up to it, you touch the mirror, it gives you a host of choices to do yoga, step, aerobics, whatever you want to do. This wall here, you see the ballet bar is on the floor. That's going to be installed on this wall with mirrors here. So you can, again, if you're doing dance class or something like that, you can see what's going on and do it properly. All exciting stuff. If I had to estimate when this is going to open again, I think we're about 3 weeks out from today, which means we're talking about somewhere last week of August. The other piece that we are working on behind the scenes that you don't get to see so physically is the access control piece, which is hugely significant. We have now gotten the hardware together, we've gotten the software together, we've gotten the programming together so that you will all come when we open the fitness center and get registered to have RFID cards with picture IDs on them, and they will grant you access to the fitness center when it's open. This way we will know that the only people that can be in here are people that are actually allowed to be in here. And we'll go through how that process is going to work in another video. That's a little bit much for today. But this room will be taken up with the staff, registering everybody, taking your pictures, giving you your cards, letting you know how all of that works. Because this will be the first step in implementing an access control system for the entire campus, which is literally what it is. It's like a college campus that you have here with all the amenities we have. It has a lot of wonderful features to it. We'll explain that later, but that should be up and running by that third week in August as well, if everything goes according to plan. Lynthia, anything else you think we've forgotten to talk about? Oh, I want to show you outside what's going on, because some of you have come and taken a peek, but you haven't really seen. It looks like Disneyland out here with the landscaping and the new sidewalks and everything else. And I want to talk a little bit about the other amenities and when those are going to open and what's happening with them, just to avoid any confusions. Because when we don't say something, then rumors start, and usually the rumors are wrong, as you know. So let's take a little walk. Okay, I'm outside the fitness center. And Lynthia, again, you don't necessarily have to look at me. Let's look at what's around us. You can see we've installed a new bike rack here. New bike racks will be going up all over the community, so if you want to ride your bike to one of the amenities, you don't have to bring your car. After all, if you're coming to do fitness, you probably ride a bicycle. So you have new bike racks. Take a look at the gardens. The gardens are magnificent. It really does look like Disneyland around here. We put in all this new hedge of Collusia so that by the time we're ready to open the pool, you won't ever see any of that stuff that used to be there. And it doesn't have fence and everything around it, so you don't feel like you're in a jail. You really just look at the beauty. I want to talk a little bit about this area over here, the bocce courts. The bocce courts have never really been accessible to everybody because they were kind of behind the shuffleboard courts and all that other stuff. Well, now the bocce courts are really front and center. And a few people have asked me questions like, oh my God, what are we going to do? There's only one shade structure. You can't get from the parking to here. The reason for this right now is the entire project was divided up into different zones for permitting and CO purposes. If you remember in the past, there used to be a green fence that ran from the end of the building right smack through there. Well, this part of the project needs to be all finished per the plans in order for me to give you this building and your beautiful new parking lot. This structure here is part of the next set of plans. So if I go and start putting what's going to be here, what'll happen is this permit will get held up because it doesn't match the plans that were submitted. So there's a rhyme and reason to everything. We didn't forget about what's going to happen with the bocce courts. We just have to do it in stages. And yes, we probably wasted a couple of $100 worth of sod that's going to get ripped out and thrown away. But that was well worth it to be able to give you the fitness center back and your parking lot. So if I talk about this a little further, if you take a look, we have gone in, we've resurfaced the bocce courts. We have sanded and restained all of the wood around the edges. Again, it's not that old orange color. It's now a nice cappuccino color to tie in with all the other amenities. That awning there, it obviously is deteriorated and has rips and things like that from being old, and the color certainly doesn't go with our new color scheme. So yes, that is being changed. There will be another one on this side. This area will be expanded so you have shade and seating on both sides. And then there is a walkway that's going to go in to connect the two of them so that people can literally come up and walk to the bocce courts. And now the bocce courts is actually much more accessible to the whole community. I bet a lot of people didn't even know we had them because they were kind of buried before. On that note, let's walk a little further and talk about some of the other things that are going on. Some people, and I have to be honest, it's not many, have asked, well, what about the shuffleboard courts? The reality is, most of the shuffleboard courts are only used during holiday season when grandchildren come to visit, but we still want to give you back shuffleboard courts. This is where the shuffleboard courts are going to go. Again, they're not going in now because they're not part of this permit, and I want to make sure I can give you back the fitness center and the parking. But if you look at this area right now where the horseshoes are, that's where the shuffleboard courts are going to go. There's going to be 2 courts. They're going to be put in there so that we have shuffleboard courts again. You're not losing any amenities. If you look over further where the white flags are, we have refurbished the putting green. You have new flags, new stakes. All of the AstroTurf has been cleaned up. We're going to clean up the landscaping a little more, but as soon as all this opens, you can come and use the putting green again. And one thing I wanted to point out when I say it looks like Disneyland, it literally looks like Disneyland, folks. With this parking the way it is and all the landscaping, look at this lake. You've had a lake for 20 years and you've never been able to look at it. It literally looks like a park, and it's never been seen before. So there really is a dramatic change to everything here at Venetian Isles. You can only imagine what's going to happen when we get inside that building when it's finished. I want you all to be excited. I know there are delays. You all knew that was happening before we started because we have no control over rain. We have no control over COVID. And it's just nice to have good news for a change instead of everything we're hearing on the news. With that being said, I look forward to seeing you all soon. Stay safe, and hopefully we'll be in that fitness center in about 3 weeks.